I'm Don Donaldson, Chairman of the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce, and would like to extend a hearty welcome on behalf of the city and the Chamber. We're excited to be here at our 8th annual State of the City. With nearly 450 people in attendance, this event has continued to grow each year, more than doubling in size since our first event. Anybody remember back that far? It is perhaps a small measure of our solid relationship between the City of Goleta and the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce that we have such a successful event. We are grateful that the City and Chamber not only collaborate on great events like today, but also on the many initiatives we jointly are focused on all year round. We have partnered on our visitor services initiatives the last 2 years, producing a number of in-market visitor pieces to encourage both destination and business travelers to stay and spend more time and money in Goleta. This initiative has also given us our new visitor tagline, "On the Coast, Down to Earth." As many of you know, the Chamber and City, along with UCSB, have also partnered on GEM, the Goleta Entrepreneurial Magnet. Together, we are working to help young science and technology entrepreneurs start their businesses in Goleta and stay in Goleta. This July will mark the 1-year anniversary of opening the GEM Incubator in Old Town Goleta. We look forward to continuing to work with other community partners as well to grow this effort. And lastly, in case you may not have heard, after many, many years of discussion, debate, and advocacy, the California Coastal Commission unanimously approved keeping Goleta Beach Park in place yesterday. All I can say is hallelujah. At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce our Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Kristen Miller.
Look at you all. You look great. Welcome. I'm so glad I get to be here and welcome you and to do this on our 8th annual State of the City. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to the City of Goleta for our continued collaboration. At your seat, I hope you have seen by now a 2015 Goleta magazine. We just launched this annual publication 2 weeks ago, and we're thrilled to feature the new Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital in this edition. As many of you know, the Goleta Cottage Hospital Foundation has worked tirelessly for many years to fundraise and bring our community a state-of-the-art hospital that supports the growing needs of our area. The new facilities open in July, right? And we're very excited for this asset in Goleta. Also, your centerpiece today is a crate of cookies from none other than Anna's Bakery. Feel free to have one as your dessert, and please take a cookie with you at the end of the program as well. Now, you know from great Goleta Chamber events like this, in such a beautiful location, that it would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. And we're extremely thankful for the continued and growing support from our business community. I'm going to start today by thanking and introducing our presenting sponsors to share a few words with you. And to start things off, it's my pleasure to introduce Kathleen Cochran, General Manager of Bacara Resort and Spa.
Well, welcome to Bacara. Those of you that know me know that I take every opportunity to tell you how much I love Goleta. I live here. I do all of my business here. My sister, who owns the Lark downtown, cannot even get me to her restaurant because I just love everything about this wonderful city, including managing one of its greatest assets. And I want to thank all of you for helping me to open those doors. We have doubled our occupancy. We have tripled our revenues in the last 3 years. Would not be possible without you. In fact, you probably, when you drove in, you saw all kinds of furniture going in and out. And for the first time in 15 years, we're renovating every single guest room here. And we couldn't have done it without community support. Bacara believes that, community partnership and hospitality go hand in hand. Welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure to introduce Janet Garufas, Montecito Bank and Trust.
This is such a love fest. I just love coming to this event every year. The people in Goleta, the businesses in Goleta are so connected with each other. It is absolutely extraordinary. Kathleen, you are one of the greatest leaders. You have done such a great job here at this hotel, and we are so glad to support you. So yay, thank you very much. So Montecito Bank and Trust is thrilled to be the presenting sponsor. We are vying for the position. We want Javier Quezada to replace Drew Wakefield as Mr. Goleta. I think you'll all agree he's almost there. Is that right? Come on, Javier, there you are. All right. So Montecito Bank and Trust has been a part of this community for 40 years. We celebrated our 40th anniversary on March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And we have been part of this community here in Goleta for 35 years with the opening of our Cayo Real branch. And now we have a wonderful location at Stork and Hollister. Many of you, we know, are happy customers of our Stork and Hollister location and our Cayo Real locations, and for that we are grateful. And I really hope that you all know that now you don't even have to come to the branch because we're mobile. Do you all have a mobile app? If you don't, please go get one. MBT, go to your app store on your phone. So Montecito Bank and Trust is really proud to support Goleta. We're proud to support Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital, the Lemon Festival, the Goodland Hotel. What a wonderful new place that is. I know I can say that here, can I? Is that okay? All right. Okay. And the Bacara, we support you too. There's so many wonderful things here, especially new Ice in Paradise is coming. So there's so many great things happening in this community, and they don't happen without the support of businesses like you. So we're glad to be part of that. For those of you who bank with Montecito Bank and Trust, we thank you because it allows us to continue to give back to our community and to reinvest by making loans and all the wonderful things that happen when you make a loan to a business to expand and to grow or to start. We're also happy for those of you who are not yet customers of ours to give you the opportunity to experience us because we think that it's something really special. And as Mr. Michael Taube says, there aren't very many places when you can call the chairman of the board or the president and have them answer the phone. And we're glad to do that. So welcome today. Thank you, Kristen. This is wonderful, and enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you, Janet. It is a love fest. And now, my pleasure to introduce Mr. Michael Taubes of the Taubes Group. Show him some love.
Thank you very much, Kristen. I always hate to follow Janet because it's such a letdown. First, I'd like to congratulate the city and the Chamber of Commerce on this 8th annual City of Goleta event. I've attended all of these, and they just keep getting bigger and better every year. So I think that's wonderful, and I think you all deserve to give yourselves a big round of applause. So let's do that. We started developing in the city of Goleta with the Willow Springs project immediately after they were incorporated, and we haven't stopped since. We love working in the city. You have a great staff here. They're very understanding of the needs of the development community, and they know that good development is good business for the city. So we're very pleased to have done as much as we have, and we continue to work on new projects to improve and help the city grow. So it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for your support of the city and all it does. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. We do have two other presenting sponsors today that we will hear from later, Newshawk.com and Binac Favre Archibald Spray. Please give a round of applause for these presenting sponsors. I would also like to thank our corporate sponsors, and I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until the end, but I'll also ask that if a representative from your company would please stand and remain standing so that we can thank you. I'll start with the Bank of Santa Barbara, City Ventures, the Cuvion family, Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital, Cox, Fleer Commercial Vision Systems, Heritage Oaks Bank, Hollister Village, Giordano's, Marburg Industries, Orbital ATK, and Decker's Brands. Thank you for your corporate sponsorship. Look at this group. Nice, huh? I would like to do the same thing with our supporting sponsors. I believe, again, someone please stand. Camino Real Marketplace, Cabrillo Business Park, Price Management, University of California, Santa Barbara, Venico Inc., and Village Properties. Thank you for your support. It is so gratifying when we all come together as a business community and get to recognize each other. And all of you who are table sponsors, I'd like for you to stand as well. Bartlett Pringle Wolf, Brown & Brown Insurance, Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck, the Business Giving Roundtable, California Resources Corporation, Citrix Online, Community West Bank, Courtyard Marriott Santa Barbara Goleta, Georgia's Smokehouse, Hayes Commercial Group, Impulse Advanced Communications, Latitude 34 Technologies, ParentClick.com, Radius Commercial Group, Santa Barbara Airport, Santa Barbara Metropolitan Transit District, Southern California Edison, Spherion, Union Bank, and Wilson Printing. Awesome. Now I get to acknowledge our elected officials who are with us today. First and foremost, I get to introduce Goleta Mayor Paula Perotti. She's just waving right now. You are going to hear from her later, but I really wanted to take a moment to give my special thanks and appreciation for the other council members from Goleta who are here today and who may not be on the stage but are present in our city and in our business community and at so many chamber events, and I just want to give them a special thanks. And if I would ask if you would all please stand and remain standing so that we can thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Jim Farr. Let's clap. They work so hard. Council Member Roger Aceves. Council Member Michael Bennett. And Councilmember Tony Vallejo. Thank you to our Goleta City Council. We're very grateful for many other elected officials who are with us today, including the Mayor of Santa Barbara, Helene Schneider. And straight off her big win from yesterday, our 2nd District Supervisor, Janet Wolf. From 3rd District Supervisor Doreen Farr's office, Chris Henson. From Assemblymember Doss Williams' office, Darcel Elliott. And we have the President of the Goleta Water District, Lauren Hansen. Goleta Water District, Meg West. Goleta West Sanitary District, Eva Turenchok. And a great showing from our Goleta Union School Board, the President, Yvonne DeGraw. School Board members Susan Epstein, Karen Izal, and Luz Reyes Martin. Thank you for your support of these folks. And now it is my great pleasure to turn the program over to the one you've been waiting for and to introduce Mayor Paula Perotti.
I'd like to start off by saying hello to everyone. And let me first thank the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce for hosting our 8th annual State of the City. It's wonderful to be able to share with our community this annual update. So important to hear. It's been 13 years since Goleta became a city, and I am so honored to be the city's current mayor. Before I get started, I wanted to recognize some of our dedicated staff members that are here with us today. Please stand as I call your name, and if we could hold the applause till the end, that would be great. Our management team is led by City Manager Michelle Green, City Attorney Tim Giles, City Clerk Deborah Lopez, Finance Director Jeannie Wilson, Neighborhood Services and Public Safety Director Vito Adamitis, Planning and Environmental Service Director Jennifer Carmen, Public Information Officer Valerie Kushnoff, Public Works Director Rosemarie Gaglione. We also have Heidi Aiton, Claudia Dado, Luz Reyes Martin, and Ann Wells representing their departments. Our Police Chief Butch Arnaldi is with us today, as well as Senior Deputy George Hendricks and Senior Deputy David Valadez are also part of the great public safety team. And joining us today are our new Fire Chief, Eric Peterson. So if you can all give them a big... They're what makes Goleta so special, all of them. They work so hard. So I'm happy to report that the state of our city is bright, and our future looks lustrous, luminous, and radiant, like the warm California sun. Before you hear from our city manager and other staff, I want to share a few of our city's highlights. Thanks to the collaborative effort of our city council and our staff and the strong support of Goleta's residents, we have much to celebrate. Hot off the presses, as you've heard, we celebrated the Coastal Commission's unanimous decision to keep the rock revetment in place at Goleta Beach. This is a great win for our community and the thousands of people who visit the beautiful beach each year. Goleta was ranked number 79 in the best 100 places to live in the United States by livability.com. And we were named the 12th best commuter city in California by umbrella.com. Our economy is strong and our unemployment remains very low at just 3.9%, one of the lowest rates in Santa Barbara County. And to give credit where credit is due, our city's sound fiscal foundation is due in no small part to the Chamber's support of our local businesses and economy, and for that, we thank you. We learned earlier this week that Goleta has again placed in the top 50 safest cities in California. We believe the strong connections between law enforcement and our community are instrumental in creating this safe environment. We have a school resource deputy who works at both Goleta Valley Junior High and Dos Pueblos High School, and they create strong connections with not only the students, but the parents and the school staff. Our Neighborhood Watch program boasts watch groups in 17 different neighborhoods under the guidance of our community resource deputy. The city recently won a Helen Putnam Award for Excellence from the League of California Cities for the Goleta Prepare Now program. This program provides important training to individuals so they can respond and serve in their neighborhoods in the event of an emergency. Our routes to school are becoming safer for our students. We finished a sidewalk infill project on Stowe Canyon to create a continuous sidewalk near Goleta Valley Junior High. And we're looking forward to starting construction on Hollister Class 1 bikeway for cyclists and pedestrians. Our recreation needs study is complete, and the new skating rink is well underway and is hoping to open to the public this fall. It's wonderful to see the kids running, jumping, playing soccer, baseball, basketball at Gersh Park. and we look forward to offering more recreational opportunities soon at the planned Old Town Park. We are privileged to join a number of other California cities hosting Special Olympians as they prepare for the Special Olympics World Games in Los Angeles. Athletes from Bhutan, Panama, and Qatar will be visiting Goleta in July before they head off to the Games in Los Angeles. Over the last year, we've filled key positions, including City Manager, Director of Public Works, and Director of Finance. We are looking forward to welcoming our new City Manager on June 8th. Not new city manager, new deputy city manager. Sorry, Michelle, I am so sorry. Our new deputy city manager will be coming. No, we love you, Michelle. We don't want you to go. So sorry. But I got your attention, right? We continue to work cooperatively on regional issues such as public safety, water supply, housing, transportation, the environment and quality of life with other jurisdictions, including UCSB, the Goleta Water District, the City and County of Santa Barbara, and Caltrans. As you know, the intrepid Spanish explorer Juan Cabrillo came to Goleta shores in the mid-16th century. 13 years ago, Goleta's first council set a course to fully capitalize on cityhood's priceless bounty of self-determination. They pursued preservation of our neighborhoods, protection of our environment, promotion of our local businesses, and cooperation with our neighbors. Goleta has steered clear of some reefs, avoided some sandbars, and weathered a few storms. We faced the headwinds of the state's dissolution of redevelopment agencies, the burdensome revenue neutrality agreement, and the fearsome fires that threatened our neighborhoods, and the storms that quite literally damaged our beaches. We assembled a great crew without throwing anybody overboard. The council members who served before us held a steady course, and our talented and competent staff keep us shipshape. Of course, it's not always smooth sailing. There are always a few clouds on the horizon, but we remain on a steady course. Though we haven't had any mutinies, we've had some differences of opinions. I can tell you this, our council is dedicated to the great community, and we work every day to keep Goleta the good land. We are committed to continue our efforts to improve the lives, we are committed to continuing our efforts to involve the people who live and work here, encourage vigorous debates, and hear the full spectrum of options, opinions, and ideas. That's how the best solutions to our challenges will emerge, and we can continue our voyage to Goleta's bright and exciting future. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Michelle Green, our city manager, who's staying with us, to give you more details and highlights of the state of Goleta in 2015. Ms. Green is no stranger to Goleta, having served in various capacities within the city for nearly 11 years. She lives in Goleta with her husband, her daughter, and 2 big dogs. Before coming to Goleta, Ms. Green was the city clerk and personnel manager in Grover Beach and the assistant city manager in Escalon. She graduated from the University of California at Berkeley and earned a Master's of Public Policy from the University of Southern California. After a vigorous recruiting process as a result of the departure of our previous city manager, Michelle Green became our clear choice out of 70 applicants, and we enthusiastically appointed her as a city manager last fall. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Green.
Thank you, Mayor Perotti, for that warm introduction. I'm very happy to hear that you want me to stay. Good, thank you. I'm also really excited to update all of you on all the great things that are happening in the Goodland. And it's been a lot. The last year has been jammed with all kinds of new things, and I'm going to take a few minutes to go over those. But I want everyone to know that the City of Goleta is well positioned for continued success. We're taking the challenges head on and keeping the ship afloat with the guidance of an engaged council and a really dedicated staff. As a result, we celebrated many significant accomplishments over the past year. Notably, the city's newly adopted housing element was certified by the state's Housing and Community Development Department for the first time ever. That was a huge milestone. This certification process provides benefits to our community, such as access to state funds for future affordable housing projects, special needs housing, and related support facilities, such as parks. The city also received its Green Business certification from the Santa Barbara County Green Business Program, and the city continues its commitment to preserving the environment. A vacation rental ordinance was passed, and it will become effective July 1st this year. It provides a mechanism for protecting our neighborhoods from some of the negative impacts, such as additional noise and overparking, but it still allows for short-term rentals in our community. The city also received an award of merit from the California Association for Local Economic Development for its role in the Goleta Entrepreneurial Magnet, or GEM, as most of us know it. It's an honor to once again be recognized for the city's role in economic development in our community. Lastly, our San Jose Creek project was named Project of the Year by the American Public Works Association. This was the city's largest capital improvement project to date, and it will help prevent future flooding in Old Town. In the area of public safety, the city piloted a successful temporary resident-only permit parking program to protect certain neighborhoods from the negative impacts of the unsanctioned Deltopia and Halloween events in Isla Vista. The city also conducted its first ever Train the Trainer program for our Community Emergency Response Team program. This program equips our residents to be neighborhood leaders in the event of an emergency. The city also participated in a hotel emergency preparedness program for the first time with the Conference and Visitors Bureau. The purpose was to develop resources for how to reach out to visitors during a state of emergency. Throughout the year, numerous pedestrian crosswalk stings and DUI checkpoints were conducted by the Sheriff's Department, and we're really grateful for these extra measures taken to help protect our community. Goleta's Community Resource Deputy and Police Chief did the first ever Walk with a Cop event on the Elwood Bluffs to raise awareness about public safety and to further engage our residents. Finally, the City Council passed a secondhand smoking ordinance, and this ordinance expands areas where smoking is prohibited, thereby increasing protection of our citizens from the effects of secondhand smoke. We've also had a great deal of success in obtaining grants, which helps us leverage our limited resources. Since the last date of the city, Goleta was awarded $3.6 million in active transportation program grants. We're very, very proud of this and all the efforts of our Public Works Department. This includes $1.6 million for the Hollister Class 1 bike path and just over $2 million for the Eckwill Fowler bicycle and pedestrian project. But we also received $203,000 in a Sustainable Communities grant for the Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan, and a federal Tiger grant, which is a very competitive grant, in the amount of $236,000 for the Hollister Avenue Complete Streets Corridor project in Old Town. A grant from Nissan enabled the city to install a fast charge station for electric vehicles at Camino Real Marketplace. Each of these grants helps the city improve its transportation infrastructure for the benefit of our entire community and those that visit Goleta. But even though we were busy doing all kinds of other things, we continued our focus on engaging our public on a number of very important issues. Numerous workshops were held throughout the year for input on Goleta's recreation needs, the possibility of a civic center in Old Town, the future Old Town Park, and the bikeway project on Hollister Avenue in Western Goleta. Public meetings in the City Council chambers are now more accessible to people with hearing loss through the installation of a hearing loop system in our chambers. We also celebrated the 10th anniversary of the acquisition of the Elwood Mesa by hosting a Sip and Savor event back in March. We also held a very successful second annual dam dinner at Lake Los Carneros. That's always a really fun event. The city has expanded our email and text notifications on over 30 topics and is proud of our engagement rate of over 70% for those who receive these communications. We continue to use Nextdoor, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube to engage our community. And we hope that you're connected to us in one of those ways as well. If you're not, you need to be. Finally, we're looking to roll out our new and improved mobile-friendly website early this summer. So we're looking forward to that also. But now, let's get down to business. Goleta continues to be an excellent place to start and run a business. Giordano's recently celebrated 100 years and will be building a new distribution facility at Cabrillo Business Park. In addition, Impulse Communications celebrated 20 years, and Santa Barbara Airbus marked 30 years in Goleta. We're very proud of our businesses that have been here and been part of our history for so long. And as many of you probably know by now, the original Habit restaurant, which was started on Hollister in Old Town, was recently recognized by Consumer Reports for having the best burger in America. And in one of the most significant business transactions of the year, Carl Stores purchased a property on Los Carneros, creating a more permanent location for this growing global company. Unfortunately, we did see the loss of Mentor and Allergan, but the medical product sector is thriving through the efforts of Sientra, InTouch, and Inogen. The growth within Sansom Clinic and Cottage Health Systems has kept the healthcare industry strong in Goleta. And the software sector continues to expand through the efforts of Appfolio, Citrix, and Yardi. In addition, realtors have seen an increase in leasing activity in the 3,000 to 10,000 square foot range, and retail and industrial vacancy rates are both quite low at less than 3%. Commercial sales have been very robust as well, with buyer demand remaining high, and pricing is anticipated to remain elevated. Finally, hotel occupancy and rate growth has been very strong. The average daily rate has increased 13.5% over the last year alone, while occupancy increased 13%, and revenue per available room increased 28.6%. This shows, I think, pretty definitively that Goleta is an increasingly valuable part of the vibrant South Coast tourism sector. And as I'm sure you all know, you can't drive through Goleta anywhere without seeing the signs of progress around the city. And I think we were all very thrilled when the freeway ramps reopened at Los Carneros as the city completed its bridge replacement project. Near Fairview, Caltrans is still working to enlarge the culverts under the freeway to prevent future flooding in that area. And those ramps are expected to reopen in early 2016. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We're working with Caltrans to mitigate the impacts of this project as best we can. But really, we appreciate everybody's patience as these important projects are completed, because we know they do make the daily commute a bit more challenging than normal. On the development front, we've seen a number of changes as well. Hollister Village, the mixed-use project across from Camino Real Marketplace, will offer residential units for lease by fall. The Hideaways in Western Goleta is also nearing completion, and the new Goleta Valley Cottage Hospital will be celebrating its opening in July. Looking ahead, you can expect to see ground broken at Heritage Ridge and Villages at Los Carneros, both of which are housing projects that will fill a need for more housing in Goleta. And here at the city, we are deep into our budget process. It's been a great process so far, largely due to the addition of our new finance director, Jeannie Wilson, who has brought another level of experience and expertise to our budget process. Our revenue outlook is positive, as you'll see in the following slides. We have seen significant increases in revenues primarily due to the post-recession recovery in sales tax and the growth in transient occupancy tax, or TOT, mainly since 2014. The city's most significant sources of revenue are TOT, sales tax, and property tax, which together make up 86% of the city's total revenue stream. TOT leads the top three at 34%, while sales tax and property tax come in at 28% and 24% respectively. And TOT revenues are projected to continue to increase, particularly with 2 new hotels slated to open in coming years. In the next chart, we can see the dollars that these top generators contribute to the city's revenue stream. TOT revenues were at $5.2 million in fiscal year 12-13 and have climbed to a projected $7.5 million by the end of the current fiscal year. Sales tax has experienced about an 8% overall increase in the same period, going from $5.7 million in fiscal year 12-13 to a projected $6.2 million by the end of the current fiscal year. Property tax has remained fairly flat, with a modest increase going from $5 million to $5.3 million. And for the coming year, the city's projecting increases in total revenues over the current year, particularly in TOT once again, and property tax of 3% and 5% respectively. These projections reflect the continuing growth in overnight stays in local hotels and increases in assessed valuations, which stem from the development activities that we see throughout the city. Sales tax is projected to stay pretty much flat as we transition into a stability mode after the recessionary period. As you can see, Goleta's overall position is solid. And our future is filled with promise. Our city council and staff are very optimistic about the coming years. And part of this optimism stems from the opportunities that exist in Old Town. The next part of our program focuses just on Old Town, and I'd like to invite up our panelists at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Bill McFadden. I'm a longtime board member of the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the founder and publisher of NewsHawk. On behalf of our company, we are very proud to be a presenting sponsor of the State of the City luncheon. We're not quite as old as the city of Goleta, but we are exactly as old as the State of the City luncheon, so we have a particular affinity for this function. As a news guy and as an observer of civics and politics, it's fascinating to me to see the birth of a city and to see it develop and you know, have some bumps in the road, but you know, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to be part of this process and to see how far Goleta has come in 13 years is really remarkable. So we're very excited to be involved. For many locals, Old Town Goleta is, well, old. But for those who live, work, or visit, there is a lot going on there. There's a new energy and a new vibrancy, and many of us in the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce see a bustling neighborhood on the cusp of an exciting recovery, or rediscovery, excuse me, not a recovery. Historically, of course, Old Town is an important piece of the fabric of Goleta. Over the decades, it has held on to its unique and intimate character, which can be a challenge to its health, well-being, and evolution. But those traits also give it charm and authenticity, which Goleta city officials, to their credit, recognize as the strengths that they are. As a result, the city has a number of initiatives and projects underway in this special area. We hear and we've seen lots of bits and pieces about Old Town, but seldom do we pull it all together to demonstrate and describe the extent of what truly is a major investment on the city's part in this vital neighborhood. We're going to try to do that today, outlining the scope of that vision and the reasons behind many of the key steps that we as a community are undertaking. We've got a short video that we're going to watch about Old Town, and then we're going to hear more details from today's panel.
I want to welcome you to Old Town. Santa Barbara Airbus has been a business located here in Old Town for almost 30 years.
Goodline Kitchen's in Old Town by accident, but it's the greatest accident that ever happened to me.
Years ago, when we were doing the redevelopment thing, we described this as our own funk zone, or funky as we used to use an adjective for it, way before they had the funk zone down in Santa Barbara.
The neighborhood, the people who live here, the other business people, people who come here to work, there's not a nicer group of people, more interested, and they're always interested in what's new and what's exciting.
It's got its own character that represents older times that are perhaps updated to reflect, modern times also, but still with the old-time basis of service and atmosphere and attitude.
It's the last place on the Central Coast that has a chance to stay authentic.
Improvements, of course, flooding, of course, and those kind of things, absolutely. Dress it up, make it look nicer, clean it up, yeah, but not change it.
Lots and lots of people coming from work, coming from recreation, and doing more of their business here in Old Town.
We find it a wonderful place to do business, and we're really looking forward to the improvements that are coming, specifically Eckwell and Fowler, that will make our part of Old Town so much more accessible.
I think Old Town is going to be, first off, it's going to be the antithesis of the funk zone, and it will be the antithesis of Midtown Goleta.
I think that's part of the enjoyment of it, and that it creates its own atmosphere, in my opinion.
I think the possibilities for really small micro businesses in this neighborhood are boundless.
The thing that I like about Old Town is that it feels like a small town. Everybody tends to know everybody. It makes it very comfortable doing business in Old Town.
We can change and still retain the simplicity and the beauty and the people that are here, and that's what I would think for the future. That we would not want to go backwards. We don't want to be like Santa Barbara. We're not trying to be something that we're not. We're trying to continue on with the same theme that we are: simple, good. We service the people that are around us, and I honestly think that's what I hope for the future.
That's a really cool video. Okay, so to talk to us today about Old Town Goleta, I'd like to introduce our distinguished panelists, all of whom have been deeply involved in the neighborhood. We have Vito Adamitis, Goleta's Neighborhood Services and Public Safety Director, Rosemarie Gaglione, who is the city's Public Works Director, City Manager Michelle Green, and Kristen Miller, President and CEO of the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce. Kristen, let's start with you. Given your role as the voice for and the face of business in the Goleta Valley, can you talk about Old Town from the business perspective? What makes it so important as the soul of the city of Goleta?
Thank you. I love to talk about Old Town. As you all know, I love to talk about business, and especially how business and government can intersect in such positive ways. And let me start by adding my voice to others who have said today, have noted the positive working relationship between our city and the business community through the Chamber of Commerce. And further add that I'm delighted to get to even be on this panel today to get to talk about this. So I get asked all the time, so what's happening in Old Town? And I think people ask me that a lot because they really care. People would be very happy to be supportive, to shop more, maybe eat more, maybe walk more, go to more events in Old Town. And I think they do feel that we have so many great neighborhoods in Goleta that are already flourishing, but there's something that feels like our soul and our purpose when we visit Old Town. So my answer to people is that actually there's quite a long list of things that are going on there. And I will admit that in the past we've looked sometimes for a grand scheme or maybe even a magic wand that was going to have a huge effect on Old Town in a shorter period of time and sort of fix everything at once. And I think what's happened recently is that instead of that, I have seen a methodical and precise and well thought out and planned list of improvements that the city is undertaking and that I think will be embraced and enhanced by the business community. And I made some notes because I do have this list, and you're going to hear a lot more about it in detail, but the San Jose Creek project that you all have heard about for a while now, but the subsequent bridge replacement and upgrades to that intersection, a Hawk pedestrian crosswalk signal at the community center, the proposed civic center project, a parking study, probable off-street parking is coming our way, and Equal Fowler, as was mentioned in the video. Plus, we're getting a brand new park. And as you've heard, the city is investing in GEM in Old Town. So there are a lot of, I can't even say little things, but there are a lot of things going on. And as Bill said, I'm excited that today you get to hear a little more detail about them, and maybe our job is by the end of this to see how it all comes together.
Thank you. And I heard a lot of stuff, but I really fixated on that News Hawk crosswalk thing. Last year, the city completed its first major capital improvement venture, the San Jose Creek project on the far eastern end of Old Town. The Hollister Avenue Bridge Replacement Project is phase 2. What does that involve, and when can we expect to see it get started? Rosemarie?
Well, the Hollister Avenue Bridge Replacement Project will replace the bridge that carries Hollister Avenue over San Jose Creek. The recently completed phase 1 of San Jose Creek improved the lower 4,000 linear feet and made that able to carry a 100-year storm flow. The bridge will complete that process and also complete the rest of the channel improvements that are necessary. The first phase was about a $24 million project, and this will be about a $16 million project, and 88.5% of that will be paid for by the Highway Bridge Program. When the project is done and FEMA issues its letter of map revision, you're going to see 200 parcels immediately taken out of the floodplain. Those property values going up 2 to 10% without any additional improvements. You're going to see a positive impact in the lives of thousands of homeowners and business owners in that area. And businesses will be able, and homeowners will be able to invest in their properties without fear of repeated flooding. And the money saved by businesses and homeowners for flood insurance over the next 20 or 30 years ranges in the millions of dollars.
Thank you. So parking, lack of sidewalks, and congestion have always been a challenge in Old Town. Rosemarie, how is the city addressing those particular issues? Can you expand on that?
Sure, we have multiple projects that will address some of that. The Equal Fowler project is going to create a new road, Fowler Road, from Kellogg to Fairview with a roundabout at Fairview. And Equal Street will connect from Kellogg to Fairview with a roundabout at Pine. Both of those streets will have sidewalks on both sides and Class 2 bikeways. We'll also make sure we have good Class 2 bikeways along Kellogg, so it'll sort of complete the bicycle network in that area. On Hollister, you'll see two roundabouts, one on either side of 217. They will also connect with Ward, Dearborn, and the ramps. So all the traffic signals and things you see out there now will go away. Roundabouts create for an efficient, congestion-free traffic flow, so that's going to help greatly. The project will have a total cost of about $16 million, and construction will begin in fiscal year 16-17. And we really understand the trepidation on the part of some businesses about the impact of traffic on Hollister Avenue, and we're going to build the Equifowler project and the Hollister Avenue Bridge project at the same time. The total construction period will be 18 to 24 months, but at least we'll get it all done at one time, and we're going to do everything that we can to go ahead and minimize those impacts. The Old Town Sidewalk Infill Project is a project to help. There's a problem in the residential areas north of Hollister that there's either discontinuous sidewalks or no sidewalks. And it would seem to be a very easy project to just go ahead and install those sidewalks, but you can't always keep them going on the same side of the street. In some areas we have sidewalk on one side and then there's sidewalk on the other. The right-of-way is narrow. So in some areas parking will need to be removed on one side of the street. There may be tree impacts. We've done the surveying to see what's out there. There's a lot of places where people have constructed fences and block walls and things within the public right-of-way, which will have to be removed. We are in the middle of preliminary engineering. We've broken up the sidewalk project in terms of what we think will be the easy stuff to build right away, what will be more involved, and then what's going to be really difficult. As soon as preliminary engineering is done, there'll be extensive public outreach because everyone needs to have a say and be heard in this because there will be some impacts. And then over at least the next 2 fiscal years, we'll be investing at least $200,000 a year and probably that much for several years going forward. We are applying for another active transportation program grant to fund this, and maybe we can get that done quickly in the next 2 or 3 years. Parking, yes, parking is a problem in Old Town. And Mr. Adamitis' shop, Neighborhood Services and Public Safety, has embarked on a parking study. They're looking at the available on-street supply, as well as some off-street options, which some may be able to be done immediately, like taking some parking from parking lots that are currently underused and seeing if some of those property owners would be interested in leasing area to the city so that we could create public parking spaces, and of course, ultimately, a new parking structure.
Great. And Kristen, what role will the chamber play in some of these developments?
Well, especially the parking study that Rosemarie has just mentioned. We are very, very interested in that and have been following it closely and given some feedback about being willing to trade some of that on-street parking for an off-street lot. So we're very pleased with the progress that's being made, and I really feel like those off-street lots are what's going to give our shoppers the confidence to come downtown. I know that the study said part of the parking problem is a perception problem, but it's still a problem. So the minute we can say we have some dependable city lots, or I love that you said a structure, it does help us then market the area to people who want to come to a restaurant or an event or a shop and have the confidence that they know where they're going to park. The other piece to this that I think we play a major role in is when it comes to the construction project of the roundabouts and the new bridge that is going to disrupt traffic there. It's going to kind of be painful for a little while. And our job at the chamber and with your help in the business community is to communicate excellently about that so that, again, our customers know that we are open for business, you can get through, and that the business owners there as well are communicated with and know how to plan. So I think we'll do great. It'll be fine.
I'm sure we will.
Nothing can go wrong. The city is conducting a civic center feasibility study. Michelle, can you tell us what that is about and why it's important?
Sure. Well, as many of you probably know already, the city owns the parcel that houses the Goleta Valley Community Center and the Boys and Girls Club now along Hollister there. This 7-acre parcel was originally the home of the Goleta Union School District. until 1984, when the school district entered into a lease purchase agreement with the County of Santa Barbara. But when the city incorporated, we assumed that lease agreement. And in 2013, we made our final payment and we took ownership of the property. But ever since incorporation, the city has always had plans to move out of our leased facilities into a permanent home somewhere in the community. And we looked at different options from time to time over that span of years. But last year, just a little over a year ago, the City Council directed staff to go forward with this feasibility study, which really focuses on building a civic center, more than just a city hall, on that community center property. Council really had the insight that bringing the center of local government to where Goletans live and work would have a positive and revitalizing effect in Old Town, and they're very committed to that. Consultants were brought on board last year to examine how accomplishing this goal would work, what City Hall and other improvements to that site would look like, and more importantly, what all this might cost. We held 2 public workshops, 4 council meetings, numerous stakeholder meetings, and a 2-day design charrette to solicit input from the public on what they'd like to see and what they would value most on that site. Early on in the process, though, council made it very clear that they really want to preserve the historic community center building and leave it intact. So a city hall and other civic facilities would be built around it on the parcel. Very soon, though, we'll be hearing more about this feasibility study. It was a very important process, though, because not only did it provide a mechanism for hearing what the public wants, but it also allowed us to hear from architects, land development specialists, financial advisors on what it would really take to make this a reality. But next Tuesday, we're going to have that report presented to council, and we're hoping to get some direction on what the next steps are and what council wants us to do first, and how they want to go forward. Anybody who's interested in learning more of the specifics about the study is welcome to tune in or come to the council chambers and attend, and that'll be at 6 o'clock.
Thank you. And you can read about it in News Hawk the next day. Kristen, what are some of the things that the business community can or should be aware of, and how will they be involved in this project?
This is, again, potentially an extremely exciting project, and one that can solve a number of needs and a number, I don't want to say problems, but can upgrade a number of things. One of which is the community center itself, which, as you all know, is a very loved place. That when we talk in Goleta about wanting that sense of community and sense of place, it already exists at the community center. And there's so many programs that go on there. Part of the charm is that antique feel. However, it does need a renovation and it does need an upgrade. So if that is accomplished in this project as well, that's definitely one of the pluses. The other is a proper city hall. I love the offices where we are now, but you know, Goleta is a vibrant, unique, technologically savvy and kind of sophisticated place. I think we need a city hall that looks as good as we are. Again, we need that sense of place that this is what we've invested in, this is who we want to say, how we want to present ourselves, and so incorporating a city hall into this spot could potentially be ideal. Lastly, as Michelle said, cities do this often. They look to, since we're going to get to build, we need to build something, we have some investment to make, look for a place that kind of needs it. And so if placing our government buildings there in the heart of Old Town helps revitalize that, brings a little more foot traffic, gives us all a reason to go there if we haven't before, I think those are pluses as well. And the community outreach the city has done on this has been terrific. I'll just echo what you've already said, that regardless of the outcome, I think the process has been extremely valuable.
Thank you. So let's talk recreation. The city has a parcel of land for the Old Town Park. Vito, where is that exactly, and what's the status of that project?
Thank you, Bill. In 2011, the city purchased a 4-acre site in Old Town at the northeast corner of Hollister Avenue and South Kellogg Avenue. This is really the first neighborhood park of this size that's being designed and built from the ground up in Old Town. The city embarked upon a very robust public outreach effort to meet with stakeholders to get input on the design and the amenities desired in this new park. It included meeting with the senior citizens at the Goleta Community Center, kids at the Boys and Girls Club, and a meeting held entirely in Spanish with the residents at Villa La Esperanza, home to 200 residents and many children directly across the street from the proposed new park. In 2012, the city successfully competed for a grant from the state for approximately $910,000 that will be used for the funding of construction for this park. The preliminary cost estimate to build the park is about $3 million at this point.
Okay, but how will this park be different from other recreational facilities in the community?
So included in this design will be a large multi-use field. There'll be outdoor fitness stations, a playground area, group picnic areas, handball, boxing, and basketball courts, and a first ever skateboard plaza. Also a future Class 1 bike and pedestrian trail, restrooms, and a small parking lot on the south side of the park.
And what about water?
So we had to incorporate some park design revisions late last year due to the drought declaration from the Goleta Water District, the Stage 2 drought declaration. The changes were reviewed again with the stakeholders, and staff is returning to the city's Park and Recreation Commission later this month to review those changes. Once we're complete with that process, we'll be coming back to the council for their final approval. We expect and anticipate construction during fiscal year 2016 and 17. It's been really exciting to work with the community to see this park come to fruition and to see the excitement on the kids and all of the residents, because it's really the first truly neighborhood park in Old Town. It's really excited to just be from the ground level on that and to see it come to fruition. So we're excited about that.
And there's a lot packed into that space too. So the Goleta Entrepreneurial Magnet, or GEM, is a joint venture of the City of Goleta, UC Santa Barbara, and the Goleta Valley Chamber of Commerce. It's coming up on its 1-year anniversary later this summer. How is that working out, Vito?
So we're pleased to share some great information about GEM today. And GEM is a 501c3 nonprofit collaboration between the City of Goleta, the Chamber of Commerce, and a world-class university, UCSB. GEM's mission is to strengthen the local economy by supporting and retaining in Goleta new and growing science and technology entrepreneurs. GEM is an important economic development effort that's financially supported by the City Council. There is a rich history of science and technology here in Goleta that facilitates this wonderful opportunity to work with UCSB and the Chamber to build upon this history and to help create new jobs and opportunities for businesses to grow here in Goleta.
Great. And Kristen, can you describe some of the programs and initiatives, both that have been completed and that we can anticipate in the future?
Yes. So did we say something about this being a love fest? GEM is still such an exciting thing that people are excited about and that is going really well. We are about to have our 1-year anniversary from having opened the incubator in Old Town. And last year's Summer Accelerator program was just a great success, and I think really gave people a chance to see a little more up close what it's like to start a business. how to try to accelerate it really quickly, and then to see that we're offering these businesses sort of a net, that we want to keep you, we want to catch you and keep you as you may be exiting that startup stage and can grow your business in Goleta. The only thing I'll add is that this really did come about from a long-term relationship of the Goleta Chamber Board looking at the local economy, and we would hire the Economic Forecast Project every year to tell us what we kind of already knew, which is that we have a steady stream of startups, most of them related to UCSB, that are growing local businesses here that become the staple businesses that we all depend on. And that if we can strengthen that pipeline just a little bit, there's a benefit for the entire community. So the business, government, education triad that has come together to focus on this one area has been, I think, really successful.
Great. And Kristen, what can we look forward to for the future of business in Old Town Goleta?
Aha. So we believe that there is a pent-up demand for new business in Old Town, and that if we provide the right infrastructure, the right support, and even the right message, a message that says, we want you here, we want new business in Old Town, then we will see a more consistent increase in the businesses that are opening there. I have a vision that one day we have a permanent sort of downtown manager or business development person working on Old Town with the merchants there and with government and business on improving this area. We're still at the vision stage right now. I can't tell you exactly what that would look like. Could it be a business improvement district like they have in downtown Santa Barbara, or a community business association like they have on Milpas Street, or a downtown merchants association that operates from within the chamber? We don't know yet, but we think the time has come to ask these questions and start taking a little more bold steps forward into this future. In fact, the Chamber has asked the city this year for two-year funding that would enable us to start helping ask those questions, doing some community outreach and some business meetings that would cause us to come to some ideas that we can then all step forward and together. We ask for that money as a part of our visitor services program because we also feel that Old Town plays a part in what is now becoming our very vibrant destination marketing and visitor services program with visitors and tourists, and that we need to plan for that a little better, as well as being able to add another asset to the visitors that we're asking to come here who are looking for that really authentic and downtown experience. Let me see if I got all my notes here. Yes, the point of all that being that, again, we feel like there is a market for this, that there's actually a pent-up demand.
Great. Well, I told you there was a lot going on in Old Town Goleta, and I think you'll agree that there is. These are all exciting and encouraging developments, and I think they'll be terrific, not just for that neighborhood, but for all of the city of Goleta and indeed the Goleta Valley. Will you please join me?
Can she talk about the?
Yes. Michelle, I'm sorry. We are not doing you well today. I apologize.
No problem.
Michelle Green.
Thank you. I wanted to build on the concept that Kristen just mentioned about authenticity in Old Town, because there are efforts currently underway that the city's undertaking that will facilitate the process of maintaining authenticity in Old Town while building around the existing community there. And this is through our new zoning ordinance process. Businesses and others in Goleta can look forward to the new zoning code shortly after the end of this calendar year. And that new code is going to have a positive effect in Old Town because in that code, the Old Town Heritage District overlay is intended to guide the development of a more distinctive and unified streetscape, but also to create a more pedestrian-oriented downtown. The new zoning code details unique development standards as well that not only will complement the existing standards, but support alternative designs and pedestrian access to commercial and retail spaces that are already in Old Town. Also, mixed use and live-work units will be encouraged in Old Town through the zoning code. Getting back to parking, flexibility for parking requirements and parking incentives are also under consideration in the new zoning code. The zoning ordinance project is also focused in streamlining the application process. Staff is proposing administrative level review procedures that will assist in moving applications along faster, and with faster processing, application costs are anticipated to be reduced over time. But in the interim, and thanks to a suggestion from a business owner in Old Town who is in the audience today, the City Council has already taken action to provide processing of new sign applications free of charge for businesses that are in the Old Town Heritage District until the point, thank you, when the zoning code process and the new fee schedule is adopted. But in closing, I really wanted to emphasize to everyone that the city is poised to invest upwards of $60 million in Old Town with the projects that you've heard about today from Ms. Gaglione and Mr. Adamitis. That doesn't even include a future civic center in Goleta. This is just the infrastructure improvements. And I think that really demonstrates a strong commitment to invest in what's important to our community. And that's the heart and soul of the city in Old Town.
Thank you. See, I told you there's even more going on in Old Town than I had given it credit for. Will you please join me in thanking our panelists today, and thank you so much for your time.